Hello, I'm Pastor Joe, and this is 2 Minute Tuesdays Together. We're going to be continuing our conversation on spiritual disciplines to help you grow closer to God and nurture and deepen your faith. One of the things I'm finding out about myself is that I have a growing and deepening love and appreciation for the historic, traditional spiritual disciplines. I think they're underutilized today, and I think that's a real shame. And because they're historic and traditional for a reason, because these historic spiritual disciplines have for centuries enabled people to deepen their faith and grow closer to God. And I think we're too quick to get away from those. And so I find myself practicing more and more of them and learning and studying them on a constant basis. And so I want us to look at a discipline today that we're all called to undertake, but it's one that may get your blood rate up, your heart rate up, your blood pressure up. And that is the discipline of evangelism. Now, don't turn away just yet. I call evangelism here a spiritual discipline because it is something that we are all called to practice. In the Gospel of Matthew, we have the Great Commission where we are told to go and make disciples of all nations. Okay? To go and share the gospel. We can go to the Gospel of Mark, and we're going to read in Mark 16, verse 15, that he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all nations." In the gospel, but in the book of Acts, we read, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." Nowhere are we asked to do this if we would like to, but everywhere it's mentioned, by Jesus, it's a command. And so I want us to get 2 minutes on the clock, and let's talk about how we can all engage in evangelism as a spiritual discipline. Now, when I speak of evangelism, anytime I mention the word evangelism, again, people tense up, they get a little bit anxious. What we imagine with evangelism is to go, a couple of things, go stand on the street corner and preach, or go door to door knocking and handing out tracts and whatnot. And those are certainly a part of it, and they have their role and their place. And I think it's important to understand that when I say that all Christians are called to evangelism, that is not the same as all Christians are called to the same form and type of evangelism. Not all of us are called to preach in a pulpit, or not all of us are called to stand on the street corner and preach or go door to door. But we are all called to share our faith. So I want to give you 4 tips or 4 ways that we can all be involved in evangelism. Now, the first one is kind of underscores all of them and is a part of all of them, and that is to simply live our faith out loud. It doesn't matter what words you use or what you say. If the evidence of what you're saying is not seen in your life, no one's going to believe it. So we are all called to live our faith and to live it in a way that others see it. So don't forget, live your faith. The other thing is to tell the story. You should be able to recite and tell the gospel story, the basic story of Jesus Christ, in under 60 seconds. Practice it. You can do it. It's not hard. 60 seconds isn't long, so you better get good at it. The other is to tell your story. Tell your experience of faith and how Christ has made a difference in your life. And then the last thing is to ask people how you can pray for them. Because most people aren't used to being asked that question, and particularly non-believers aren't used to being asked that. And that's going to could lead to some powerful conversations. So live your faith, tell the story, tell your story, and ask people how you can pray for them. Those are 4 ways that we can all be involved in evangelism, and it will help us all to grow closer to God in our own lives. Look, I hope this has been helpful to you. Please take a moment, click share, pass this on to others, hit like, and if you haven't already, why don't you take a second, click that button and subscribe to my channel.